Welcome to Goddesses. I'm your host, Blair Minerva. Today on Goddesses, imagine discovering that the very source of someone's greatest strength was also their deepest, most hidden vulnerability. In today's episode, we uncover how Clara Barton's personal darkness fueled her extraordinary compassion, revealing a powerful lesson about how your own struggles can become the catalyst for monumental change. Have you ever wondered what darkness lurks behind the brightest lights? Picture an elderly woman hunched over a worn leather diary, her trembling fingers tracing words written decades ago. This is Clara Barton, founder of the American Red Cross, whispering into the flickering firelight. The Civil War battlefield at Antietam stretches before you like a canvas, painted in blood and smoke. Through the chaos strides a woman in her 40s, her apron already stained crimson. She kneels beside a wounded soldier, cradling his head as artillery shells explode nearby. The other nurses cower in their tents, but Clara Barton remains steady, even as her hands shake with an inner tremor that has nothing to do with the cannons. This is not a story about a saint. This is a story about how our deepest wounds can become our greatest gifts. If you've ever felt that your struggles made you weaker, that your differences made you less, lean in close. Clara Barton has something to teach you. North Oxford, Massachusetts, 1821. While other little girls played with dolls, young Clara spent her days nursing injured animals back to health. Her father, a Revolutionary War veteran, would find her in the barn, carefully splinting a bird's broken wing or feeding an orphaned rabbit. The local children called her strange. The adults called her too sensitive. Clara called it purpose. But sensitivity extracts a price. By age 11, Clara's anxiety had become so severe she could barely speak to strangers. Her parents worried. The teachers complained. Yet in those quiet moments tending to wounded creatures, she found a peace that eluded her everywhere else. At 15, Clara did the unthinkable. She became a teacher, forcing herself to face her terror of public speaking day after day. Each morning brought waves of nausea. Each night brought sleepless worry. But she persisted, driven by a vision of education for all. When she opened New Jersey's first free public school, enrollment swelled to 600 students. Then came the blow. Despite her success, the school board passed her over for principal, choosing a man instead. Women are too emotional for leadership, they said. Clara felt the familiar darkness rising, threatening to pull her under. But this time, something else rose with it: determination. When the first shots of the Civil War rang out in 1861, most women prepared bandages from the safety of their homes. Clara Barton loaded a wagon with supplies and drove straight to the battlefield. The military officials were scandalized. Women didn't belong in war. But Clara had spent a lifetime turning her sensitivity into strength. She knew that what others saw as weakness was actually her superpower. The Battle of Antietam brought 23,000 casualties in a single day. While other nurses retreated from the horror, Clara advanced. She moved through the carnage like a force of nature, her Red Cross armband becoming a symbol of hope. When she ran out of bandages, she tore up her own petticoats. When the surgeons ran out of chloroform, she held the soldiers' hands and whispered stories of home. But each life saved carved another scar on her soul. Each death added weight to the darkness she carried. The other nurses whispered about her intensity, her refusal to rest, her habit of working until she collapsed. They didn't understand that for Clara, the work wasn't just about saving others. It was about saving herself. If you're enjoying Goddesses, please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, Be an Unstoppable Woman. Lead without apology using quiet power tactics from influential females like Oprah, Malala, and RBG. Now, back to the episode. 1864, Clara's reputation had earned her the title Angel of the Battlefield. But angels, it turns out, can fall. After 3 years of witnessing humanity's capacity for brutality, the darkness she'd fought all her life came rushing back with devastating force. One morning, after working 36 hours straight, she collapsed. The doctors diagnosed nervous exhaustion. Today, we'd recognize it as a severe mental breakdown. For months, she retreated to Europe to recover. But even in her darkest moments, Clara's mind churned with purpose. In Switzerland, she discovered the International Red Cross, an organization that provided neutral medical care during conflicts. Through her pain, a new vision emerged. When Clara returned to America in 1873, she brought with her a radical idea. The Red Cross shouldn't just serve during wartime, it should respond to all disasters. She'd learned that suffering didn't discriminate between battlefield and homeland. Neither should compassion. The bureaucrats resisted. Congress dismissed her, but Clara had spent a lifetime turning rejection into fuel. She wrote letters, gave speeches, and lobbied politicians. In 1881, at age 59, she founded the American Red Cross. Her personal demons had led her to create an institution that would help millions. Success didn't ease Clara's internal struggles. If anything, leadership intensified them. She worked obsessively, micromanaging every detail of relief operations. Critics called her controlling. Supporters called her dedicated. Few understood that her drive came from a deep well of empathy that both blessed and cursed her. These words reveal both her strength and her burden. Now picture Clara one last time in her 80s, sitting by that fireplace. The diary in her hands contains decades of service, thousands of lives saved, and battles both external and internal. She's not just reading her past, she's leaving a message for you. Clara Barton's story teaches us that our greatest weaknesses, when embraced rather than denied, can become our most powerful assets. Her anxiety and sensitivity didn't make her less capable of greatness. They were the very qualities that made her extraordinary. So here's your challenge. What darkness do you carry? What aspect of yourself have you been hiding, suppressing, or apologizing for? Perhaps, like Clara, your sensitivity makes you feel out of place in a harsh world. Perhaps your intensity alienates others. Perhaps your anxiety convinces you to stay small. But what if that very trait is your gift to the world? What if, like Clara, you could transform your struggles into service, your pain into purpose? Clara's legacy isn't just the Red Cross. It's the proof that our deepest wounds can become our greatest contributions. The question isn't whether you have demons. The question is, what will you do with them? Remember, some heroes are forged in fire. Others, like Clara Barton, are forged in the quiet battles of their own minds. Your battle may be different, but your potential for impact is just as great. The diary closes, the fire dims, but the challenge remains. Will you, like Clara, have the courage to turn your darkness into light? On the next episode of Goddesses, imagine a world where defying expectations can save lives. After Clara Barton's courageous journey in breaking barriers, we're about to witness another trailblazer who transformed an entire profession from the shadows of societal norms. What if I told you she didn't just light lamps, but ignited change with data? Join us next week as Florence Nightingale steps into the spotlight, shining her Lady with the Lamp legacy on our new theme, exceptional healers and well-being advocates. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code, or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, Be an Unstoppable Woman. 7 days, 7 iconic women. Master the art of quiet power, lead without apology, and turn femininity into your greatest weapon. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/GOD. Thanks for watching.